You're watching Live Young Diecast and the Moontower Muscle Modified Diecast Racing Tournament. Group 4 is on deck, and this will wrap it up. Our winner will join the others in the finals next week. Welcome back to Live Young Diecast. I'm your host, Lone Star, and my buddy Spike here has been going on about something that happened at the cave under the Moontower. Oh, you're not going to want to miss this. We'll get to that. Let's introduce these drivers and get into the racing. It's Mr. DARQ from Dubious Diecast, weighing in at 58 grams in that number 13, 67 Chevelle SS. Beautiful. Stallion Johnson is here for the first time from Con Man Customs. He weighs in at 59 grams in the 65 Mustang Fastback. We've got LARRO, who won the race off to get into the tournament from 409 Diecast. He weighs in at 56 grams in the 67 Firebird. Finally, it is Dutch Vandershift from Dutch Clutch Racing, 60 grams in the 75 Corvette. We're into race number 1 in the grid. Dutch and Stallion Johnson will be in the back. Mr. DARQ kicks off in pole position. LARRO on the outside for race number 1. We got green lights and we are away into the first 90. And Mr. DARQ, no competition from Dutch on the outside. It will be Stallion Johnson who slots in behind DARQ. And they get away into the next set of 90s. Mr. DARQ running away with this one. He's got a clean win here, and Stallion Johnson in for second, Dutch Vandershift for third, and LARRO in for fourth on race number 1. We'll take a look at the lap time Mr. DARQ pulls down here. We had a lot of shakeup last week, and we'll see if we get any of that this week. On the replay, it's a pretty clean race. Everybody finishing, just training along here. And Stallion Johnson getting a little drift there. That will increase the distance between him and Mr. DARQ here on lap 1. So not much competition for Mr. DARQ from pole position. And we'll see how that changes up as we get through the grid. Mr. DARQ in the lead with 4 points. Stallion Johnson with 3. Dutch Vandershift with 2. LARRO has 1, and that's a 13-13 to Mr. DARQ for the lap win. Race number 2 has LARRO and Dutch in the back. Mr. DARQ slides over to the outside, and this is Stallion Johnson in pole position. Green lights for race number 2. And heading into the Pennybacker Bridge, it will be LARRO. He beats DARQ from behind Stallion Johnson and comes in. A hiccup there in the valley. It lets DARQ go by. And now Dutch Vandershift comes in, hits. And this is going to be Stallion Johnson for the win. Mr. DARQ making it in for second. Dutch for third. LARRO for fourth. I can't believe the whole group survived here after LARRO gets a little air, gets a little bump on the entrance to the Vista Valley. We'll take a look at this and see if we can catch that. LARRO there on the orange Firebird going to come through and hit the wall and bump. And it somehow allows DARQ to come through on the inside. Dutch able to pass LARRO inside that turn number 4. And he'll come in for second over LARRO, who takes 1 point again. 2 in a row with the last finish. It is Mr. DARQ and Stallion Johnson trading wins and second place finishes, so they've got 7s. And it's Dutch Vandershift sitting on 4 points right behind them. A 14.7267 for Stallion Johnson, and that lap 2 win. Into race number 3, Mr. DARQ slides to the back with Dutch Vandershift. LARRO takes pole position, and that means Stallion Johnson on the outside into the 90 and to the Pennybacker Bridge. It's LARRO with the lead. Stallion Johnson pressing from the outside. He slots in behind LARRO, and he goes over on the Vista Valley, leaving LARRO all alone. Dutch and DARQ are way back there, coming through the 90s, and it's LARRO for the lap 3 win and a race challenge at the line for Dutch Vandershift, who just narrowly takes down Mr. DARQ on the home stretch. Let's take another look at this. So Stallion Johnson blazing in behind LARRO. I think he catches a little air right there, hops, struggle landing, flips him over. And this is all LARRO with Dutch and DARQ coming into that last set of 90s alone. LARRO for the win on race number 3, and then a challenge at the line. So Dutch Vandershift picking up second place, leaving Mr. DARQ with third, but he will sit in the lead with 9 points, 7s to Dutch and Stallion. LARRO right behind with 6 points, and it's a near 15-second time for LARRO's win. Stallion Johnson, who DNF'd in the valley, Gonna want to take a look at that one before race number 4. Poof, we're there. And it's Stallion Johnson in the back with Mr. DARQ. LARRO slipping over to the right side up front, and that leaves Dutch Vandershift in pole position for our final lap. He needs to win this, and he needs DARQ to struggle, but it's LARRO who wins the drag race from the outside, coming ahead. Dutch is passed by Mr. DARQ, who drifts sideways, hit. Those guys are off. Mr. DARQ survives, keeps going, heading in. All he needs is second, and he will get it. Mr. DARQ with that second place finish, enough to get him through. Even with LARRO taking the win here, he was in last place, so that puts him up to 10 points, but it's not quite enough. Look at this drag race. It's beautiful from LARRO on the outside. He did have a fast car. Mr. DARQ with a beautiful overtake on the outside. He goes sideways. It puts Stallion Johnson and Dutch off. Mr. DARQ gets back on the horse, heads down, picks up 3 points, and that will put him with 12. He will advance into the final. Stallion and Dutch with a pair of 7s. LARRO with a respectable 10, but could have been more if those first 2 laps hadn't suffered. That's a 14.3. Very nice. We say goodbye to Dutch, LARRO, and Stallion Johnson. Thanks for coming, and a big congratulations to number 13, Mr. DARQ from Dubious Diecast. He will join 2K, Numbskull, and Champagne Poppy next week in the finals. I've got to show you something at the cave. Oh, right, man. What do you got? The spy balloon keeps track of the Moontower parties and the cave activity at all times. So I'm down there hanging out when I met our friend Bruce, who showed me his new Halloween costume. Ooh, that's pretty cool. Zine pulls up. Bruce goes down there to talk to these guys who get out and seem to be having it on about some sort of proposition. Dude, you're freaking me out. I mean, that is some Diecast Illuminati kind of stuff. Ridiculous. It's just Bruce. He's built some concept cars, and a few guys wanted to race. Phew, okay. Well, yeah, it is Halloween. We always have a few guys show up to race, so I'm glad we're gonna do it. I guess we'll get to the Moontower Muscle Finals the week after. Hey, y'all, thanks for watching. See you next week.